civil rights leader, politician, Baptist minister, protege of Martin Luther King Jr. You can see him there waving, getting a very warm reception, actually a standing ovation by the delegates and those who are congregating inside the room. Some people, you see that lady there covering her heart in reaction to him raising his hand. Of course, you see Reverend Al Sharpton just over his shoulder. As we mentioned before, Jackson sought the Democratic presidential nomination back in 1984 as well as 1988.
Now, they know that he sought the Democratic presidential nomination back in 84 and 88, but they leave out something very important. Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Today, I have a very good video for you. It's about Reverend Jesse Jackson. Now, I want to share with you a historical clip. It's from a long time ago, and the clip from the DNC just yesterday. But before we get into it, don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Now, let's get into it. So, I've known for a little while that Donald Trump did a lot for a lot of Black people back in the day, the 80s, the 90s, and beyond, always helping. But somehow he's been labeled a racist. Oh, he is racist at his core, said John Legend. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He just needs to stick to singing. So now I wanted to share with you some things that I wish Reverend Jesse Jackson would come forth and clear up for everybody. Now, let's get into it. So let's look at this picture right here. Looks like Donald Trump and Jesse Jackson from back in the day. Look at this. Well, what do you know? And look at what it says right here. It says Democrats should remember that Donald Trump was good friends with Jesse Jackson. Trump donated to Jackson's presidential campaign in 1988. In 1999, Jackson praised Trump for his lifetime of helping Black and minority communities. So he did. Okay, let's look at this one.
And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to rest to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
And I just want to say that Jesse Jackson just said he helped him in 84 and 88. And also he does work to help underserved communities. Okay. And if you look at the screen, it says Rainbow Push Coalition Wall Street Project Conference.
Well, it is an honor to be here. And I was with Jesse last year, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a little different. We had a real panel where you asked questions and everything, and we didn't do so much speaking. So I'm going to get off here very quickly because I want to hear some questions. Jesse started off by saying most of the wealth in this country is in the hands of a few. And I thought to myself, is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that, Jesse? But he did have an expression last year. And I was just telling Roger. He had an expression last year, the wall on wall must fall. And you haven't used it today, and I'm very disappointed in this, Jesse, because I thought it was a great expression. And I heard the expression about 14 times, and then he came to me at the end of the session, And he said, listen, I want some office space in your building on Wall Street because the wall on wall will fall. And I said, it's okay, Jesse. I'll make a good deal with you. I'll get you some space. You'll pay about $40 a foot. And he said, no. I don't want to pay 40. I said, how about 30? No. It was the cheapest deal I ever made in the history of 40 Wall Street. Is that right? He got it for nothing. He's a very tough negotiator. We know that, right? No, he's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up. And look at this place. It's packed. I do want to say a couple of things. First of all, where's Percy? Oh, okay. I thought you left, Percy. That would have been terrible. I get up and you leave. I would have been insulted. But, he's been a special friend of mine for 25 years, for a long time. And Percy was the borough president of Manhattan when I was really starting out. And he helped me so much on the Commodore Hotel, which you mentioned before, which became the Grand Hyatt, and so many other things. And he is really, and I listened to him speak, and I said to Roger and Roy, listen to those tones. Listen to that voice. Have you heard that before, by the way? What a beautiful tone, and what a beautiful man. And we love him. You really were a big help to me right at the beginning, and I really appreciate it. And you've done some great jobs. So I just want to sort of acknowledge that. You do want to run for president. You see this guy, you're 3-0. And when he left Bush, you know what happened to Bush's last campaign, folks? It wasn't very pretty. And now we have President Clinton, who's coming tonight. And I guess you like President Clinton very much, right, Jesse? Huh? Stand up and say it, Jesse. Well, I'll just say a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the West Side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. We're building a building that you probably heard of recently. It's the tallest residential tower anywhere in the world. It's 90 stories. People aren't happy about the fact that I'm building a 90-story building in New York City, but it's an as-of-right. It's called an as-of-right building, meaning you can do it by zoning, and it's going to be truly magnificent, right directly across from the United Nations. We just bought the General Motors building. We just completed Trump International Hotel and Tower, which just yesterday got the Mobile 5-Star Award. Only 4 in the country got it for its whatever it is, and it's been a tremendous success. We're doing a lot of other things, and I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are Black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is Black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
That doesn't seem very racist, does it? See, that's what I want people to realize, that this was back in January of 1999, if you saw that date stamp in the upper left-hand corner. And Donald Trump is getting people jobs. He said Blacks and minorities. He touted that number, 25%, I believe he said. And also, Jesse Jackson mentioned at the beginning that he's for diversity. And this man helped Jesse Jackson. Trump helped Jesse Jackson in his campaigns. It's recorded that he helped finance his campaign in 84 and 88. So I'm trying to see where the racism is, because people like the demon rats accuse others of doing what they themselves are guilty of. It's called projection, and they always do that. You may know some people like that, maybe a friend, a neighbor, or family member, but the demon rats have gotten pretty darn good at it. But I'm going to share this other clip with you.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand.
A big hand for Donald Trump.
See, that clip was from a year earlier in February of 1998. Okay. And he said diversity again. And you all bring it up, give it up for Donald Trump. And in the previous clip, it was clearly said, I believe Donald Trump said he loved Jesse. But what happened? What happened, Reverend Jackson? And I know Reverend Jesse Jackson he's not in the best of health. He has Parkinson's. And I know I told some of you that my uncle passed, he had Parkinson's. And sometimes just don't know how much longer people have. But what I am praying for is for Reverend Jesse Jackson to break his silence, to come out and tell the truth. Get on every network. I'm not beating up on him, but Donald Trump has been accused of the worst names, calling him racist and all these horrific things. But the history does not line up with that. It just doesn't line up.
A reversal?
Well, there's a kind of to and fro. In many ways, Mr. Trump bemoans the fact that he lost by 3 million, yet he won by technicality of the Electoral College. It's really a slave institution. You had the Confederate flags, the money-missing Confederate legislation. He won by that margin. But in many ways, Hillary Clinton won the election. And he's anxious about that. But more than the election itself is that the chaos in the White House, the attack on basic rights. We've globalized technology, we've globalized capital, we've not globalized human rights, workers' rights, women and children's environmental rights. And that's the unfinished business of our struggle. So the 10 o'clock press conference should be an historic one where the National Bar accepted our call to form a Rainbow Push National Bar Association Commission on voter suppression, in contrast to voter fraud.
You recently said that Donald Trump's appointees are hostile to your interests. What does that mean?
It means that the crown jewel of our struggle for access was the right to vote. To put Mr. Sessions over justice, a man who thinks that the 54th Supreme Court decision, in fact, was an activist court, the code word, that the protected right to vote is intrusion on the right to vote, and celebrates diminishing the power to vote in 2013. That's hostile. The Minister of also public education. She's never been to a public education school. Her qualifications do not include teaching in the elementary school or high school. There's no experience there. There's no commitment. Mr. Price, Dr. Price over medicine, who's hostile to Medicaid. So these are persons who seem to be, their background is against the mission of the department. So when they have a home to stay in and they have safe neighborhoods. And so in Chicago, for example, it's drugs in from across the border, guns in. They don't sell guns in Chicago.
Well, he mentioned drugs in from across the border. Yeah, seems like we still have a border problem. Yes, we do. So we've seen these historical clips, and it looks like Jesse Jackson has evolved because this is right after the 2016 election, and it looks like he's talking about some of the people that Donald Trump has surrounded himself with, and he doesn't seem to have anything kind to say about them, saying their interests are against our interests as a country. And also, that he said in the previous clip he talked about how Donald Trump didn't really win. It was really, he's concerned. Donald Trump is nervous about Hillary, how she won the popular vote. And it just looks like you can tell something shifted from back in the 90s where they were like buddy, and Donald Trump helped him. And see, this is what I really don't like, is when people accuse someone of doing something that they know is an outright lie to deflect from what they're not doing, which is what the demon rats are doing to Donald Trump. And another thing I do not like, I detest, someone helps you get to where you're going. They actually help you, and you admit yourself that this person helped you. But years down the road, from 1998 to 2000 and something, after the 2016 election, somewhere in there, Jesse Jackson says these negative things about Trump. Whereas back in the 90s, he was praising the man for being diverse and inclusive. And then Trump was giving his numbers, bragging on his numbers about the numbers of blacks and minorities working for him. And he said they're the best workers. So I'm confused. So what is the thing? Okay. And I know Reverend Jesse Jackson is up in age now and he's not getting around. He's in a wheelchair. He was at the DNC. I played that clip. But my problem is, can someone have a conscience before they leave this earth and say that man is not a racist? Can Reverend Jesse Jackson do that? Can he admit, okay? Because you all know doggone well that Donald Trump has a history of helping. He even received the Ellis Island Award. If you're looking at my screen, it says October 27th, 1986, Donald Trump being awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. The Ellis Island Medal of Honor is awarded each year in celebration of patriotism, tolerance, brotherhood, and diversity. So why doesn't the media remember this? It says he's being given the Ellis Island Award for contributing to the conditions of inner city Black youth, standing alongside Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks. Did you get the part where I said that he was given this award for contributing to the conditions of inner city Black youth, for trying to help inner city Black youth, trying to help? They awarded him this. But the media is standing right there. You see it. There's Muhammad Ali. There's Rosa Parks. Yes. So my question is, and this is my plea for Reverend Jesse Jackson. I ask you kindly, sir, and I say it out of respect. I get your position in life and I understand some of what you're going through, because I've seen this with a relative. I'm asking you to please get up and be vocal about what Donald Trump has done, if you can. Maybe write a letter. I don't know if he's able to speak. I didn't see him speaking at the DNC. The part that I showed you, I didn't see him speaking. I saw him waving. So I need somebody to be honest, okay? Admit the truth. Do a social media post, have someone write a letter for you. I don't know what the situation is or how your situation has progressed, but I want people to know the truth. I'm a truth seeker and I'm a truth lover. I don't pull no punches, okay? I'm very politically incorrect. I actually have to work at being nicer. You all pray for me about that. I have to work at being nicer, but I wanted to share this with you all. Like, where is the racism? He's a racist, right? Donald Trump's a racist. John Legend said he's a racist at his core. Yes, John Legend, I need you to stick to singing. You do not belong in politics, nor even commenting about politics. But free speech, right? You can say what you will. Sometimes, depending on if you're conservative or not. But that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.